Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 530 News on KAJ, Montana's news leader.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Don Fisher. Big Arm residents are now without a working post office after a fire started inside the building late last night. MTN's Nicole Miller spent the day on the scene and tells us if the building is repairable and how residents will get their mail in the meantime.
If you're a customer of the post office in Big Arm, you could see a delay in your mail services after the post office caught fire Tuesday night. Polson Rural Fire District Chief Gordon Geezer says no one was inside at the time and no one was hurt.
I would say we probably had 25 firefighters here.
Geezer says the call came in around 11 p.m., a report of smoke.
Upon arrival, the first engine's report was that they had smoke showing at the front of the building and smoke showing along the roof line.
Polson Rural Fire, Chief Cliff Fire, and Polson City Fire responded.
This was an interior attack, and the fire was held to the area of origin inside the building.
Geezer says it took about 30 minutes to contain the fire, and within 60, they had it knocked out. The exact cause of this fire is unknown, and the investigation is in the preliminary stages.
Since this is a post office and a leased federal facility with a fire of undetermined cause in the building, the State Fire Marshal's office is contacted, and they're currently on scene here with us, assisting in an investigation of the cause.
Geezer estimates the damage at about $40,000. Until the building is repaired, customers will need to use the Elmo post office for mail pickup and delivery. Nicole Miller, MTN News, Polson.
And the Big Arm Post Office serves about 250 customers and has 100 P.O. boxes. Mail delivery, retail services, and P.O. distribution will be handled out of the Elmo Post Office until further notice. If you have any questions, you can contact them at 406-883-2088. And switching to weather, some light snow seen in the region today with conditions only set to intensify as we make it closer to the weekend. For more, let's turn it over to Chief Meteorologist Aaron Yost, who has a look at our first forecast. Aaron.
Yeah, things pretty active out there earlier today, tapering off just a bit, but still dealing with some scattered snow showers here and there. Overnight tonight, expect a bit of a lull, but we have got a potent system headed our way for Thursday into early Friday. Here's our first round of winter weather advisories that have been issued. This includes all of the lower terrain in northwest Montana from Thursday morning into Friday morning. I will tell you there will be higher amounts closer to the divide and into Glacier National Park, perhaps in the Kootenai Cabinet region as well. I'll look at some winter storm warnings that have also been issued for that time frame. I'll break down this whole system coming up in just a bit.
All right, thanks, Aaron. The Flathead Avalanche Center has again raised avalanche danger in wake of projected snow and rain. The decision was made Tuesday night to the Swan, Whitefish, and Flathead range that are all still under considerable avalanche danger on Wednesday at elevations above 6,000 feet. One person was killed in an avalanche near Fernie, British Columbia on Monday, just about 60 miles north of the Whitefish Range. The Flathead Avalanche Center is most concerned about the northern part of the Whitefish Range that currently has the shallowest snowpack in the region this year. The center is saying that the most active areas have been the slopes with less than 4 feet at depth, with weak layers that have gotten worse during this recent warming event. They are also suggesting that if you do venture into the backcountry, to be more conservative as terrain and the steep slopes have become more dangerous. Billings is one of the least diverse towns in the nation, with 91% of Yellowstone County being Caucasian. But that doesn't mean that there isn't some diversity and a discussion to be had. At a panel discussion Tuesday night in Billings, a group spoke of their experience with racism and discussed what can be done to fight it. Attendees say that the key takeaway was that racism, overt or not, occurs across the county and across the state. From accepting racial identity to microaggression actions by people to institutional racism, the forum covered a number of topics.
The racism toward Native Americans is what's most apparent in my experience since I've been living here in Montana.
You hear these little things, these comments. You can walk into a room and people just don't realize it and they say, hey, look, we're having a powwow. Things like that. Little tiny comments, oh, here come the Indians, we're not going to get tipped at a restaurant.
You know, the comments, the being followed around in stores. I've been told to go back to Mexico more times than I can even care to count. It just makes me almost laugh at this point because it's so nonsensical.
And the panel encouraged people to become involved with social justice groups if they want to see cultural change. And for a more in-depth version of this story, please visit our website at KAJ18.com. In a few days, the entire responsibility for running the University of Montana will fall on the shoulders of new president Seth Bodnar, but he's meeting the calling with enthusiasm and a lot of gratitude for his successor. This is interim President Sheila Stern's last week on the assignment she's held for the past year, helming UM through a period of change, from navigating a tough course to balance the budgets against reduced enrollments to finishing off major building projects. It's been an active stretch, and there's a lot to pass along in just a few days. But Stern says Bodnar is up for the challenge.
President Bodnar is just really fun to work with. He's really smart. Everybody knows that, but it's fun to see it. And his leadership experience is really good. It's fun to connect that to higher education and to our model of how we do business and how we educate students and prepare for a really 21st century future in a more energetic and digitally aware way. He's great. The transition's great, but I feel like I'm learning as much from him as he's learning from me.
Well, I think we just all owe President Stern's enormous debt of gratitude, not just for the past year here at the University of Montana, but really for a career of service to this institution, to this state. She is an icon in this state, and I'm incredibly grateful for her service, but her transition. We're making this as smooth a transition as one could expect, and I am a huge fan and admirer of Sheila's. I'm disappointed to see her go. I've tried to do a mind meld with her before she goes, but she's been incredibly gracious.
And Stern says during her second retirement, she and her husband Hal plan to do some traveling, and she'd like to do some writing, reading, and spend more time with her family. Hundreds of dancers from across the globe are sharing their skills with Western Montana at the annual Ballet Beyond Borders. At last night's competition, it was a pair of Romanians who stole the show, and their personalities are equally as animated while performing as they are off the stage. MTN's Kent Ludson introduces us to this dynamic duo.
You did great. Good
You
job.
also did great, Alina.
Great job.
You're
Thank you so
amazing.
much. No,
and,
you're amazing.
And your hair, it's so beautiful.
I know. In my
These two Romanians are quite the pair, and when put on center stage, they create an even more colorful masterpiece. The choreography tells the story of a man who has to make the tough choice of either protecting his country during World War II or staying home and being with the love of his life, a decision many still make today.
How hard it is to leave somebody and how hard it is for the person who is staying home to just watch him go in that train.
And how hard it is to keep that love.
Yes, so that's the story of our dance.
It's no wonder this duo is so in sync. They have been dancing together for the past 5 years, but it was a chance encounter that brought them together.
The moment, 2013, actually we met each other on the bus, and I saw her curly brown golden hair, and
He was too shy to talk to me.
Yeah, I was like 14, so.
So I've been in the high school, in the ballet high school. I said, Radu, you come and dance in my production.
In my company, and you don't have any rights to speak.
Domsa and Alina travel all across the globe to share their gift. They found their way to Missoula after receiving a scholarship from Rocky Mountain Theater Artistic Director Charlene Campbell-Carey to perform at Ballet Beyond Borders. And this dynamic duo is certainly enjoying the Montana lifestyle.
Ballet Beyond Border, it's exactly what it says. It's like collecting people from all over the world. We have phenomenal dancers here.
Yeah, they're amazing. Brazil, Cuba, San, Puerto Rico,
Africa,
Portugal, Romania, Transylvania, from wherever you want. It's
all
awesome.
over the world. So
They will leave Montana towards the end of the week, but trust me, these animated performers plan on being back. Kent Lutzen, MTN News, Missoula.
Bye, Missoula!
And Ballet Beyond Borders continues the rest of this week, and the event wraps up with a gala finale this Saturday in Missoula. For more information, you can see that on our website. And your commute could look a lot different in the future, from self-driving cars to a taxi cab drone to controlling a car with your brainwaves. The future of transportation was on display at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas. CBS's Kara Suboy reports on some of the highlights.
The cars of the future will do more than drive you around, and autonomous vehicles won't just be confined to the roads. At CES in Las Vegas, Intel showed off the Volocopter. It's designed to be an air taxi, autonomously flying you around a city from point A to point B.
The great potential lies in using these on demand, summoned via an app, just like an Uber today, shared service that we offer.
As for self-driving cars, the focus is shifting. If cars can start driving themselves, then we need to be entertained. Movie screen in the dash and swiveling seats so I can chat with my passengers. Electric car maker Byton has created what they're calling a digital lounge in their concept car. You would use hand gestures for controls and your face to unlock the car and customize your ride. If you do have to steer, you may not have to use your hands. Nissan is working on what it calls brain-to-vehicle technology, which reads your brain waves to help control the car. CNET's Roadshow editor Emmy Hall tried it out.
If I'm deciding to turn left or turn right, and it's going to basically put that input in a little bit quicker, essentially reducing my reaction time up to a half a second.
Samsung has a concept car that can help you decide what to make for dinner.
I don't know what I need from the grocery store, so I'm just going to tap this refrigerator button. And next thing you know, I'm getting a live feed of what's inside of it, and I know exactly what I have to pick up and how much of it.
It's not clear if this tasty technology will actually make it to market, but it gives us an idea of what's coming down the road. I'm CNET's Kara Suboy for CBS News, Las Vegas.
And that electronic show continues through the end of the week. And coming up, Erin has the latest warnings and advisories as a stronger system starts to move into the region. She'll let us know how much snow we could see and how it can impact your travel. Plus, it was one of the deadliest disasters in Butte's history. We'll take a look back at the warehouse explosion of 1895 next on KAJ.